Hello, hello, hello. Today is going to be a kettlebell basics. We're going to use kettlebells to go over the 7 basic movement patterns. Squat, lunge, hinge, push, pull, rotate, and carry. So I'm going to try to edit as little as possible, so you're going to have to bear with me while I move the camera from up to down or right to left, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time editing this to share it with you because I want you to be able to use it as soon as possible. So the first one we're going to do is a squat, and you can hold your kettlebell like this, or you can put your hand through the handle and hold it like this. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what it looks like when we squat down. Just make sure that you don't hinge for your squat, right? That's a totally different movement. So the squat is like you're sitting on a box. Okay, I'm going to turn a little bit more sideways so you can see. My eyes are straight forward. My heels are pushed through the floor. I'm going to go straight down. And when I come up, I'm going to squeeze the crap out of the butte and the hamstrings. That's what I want to engage at the top, but we're using quads, glutes, and hamstrings for this. Okay, I'm going to show you one more time what it looks like from the back so you can see that I don't hinge. It's not the hinge that gets you down, it's the bend in the knees, okay? So we're going to do this for 15 reps, all right? And push your heels through the floor when you come up. There's 5. And really squeeze right here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next basic movement is the hinge. I do not want you to do these unless your back is pain-free. So if you can do these without pain, go for it. If not, let's put them on hold. And something I should have mentioned is to make sure that you keep your shoulder blades retracted back and down. So when you're doing these, don't let your shoulders round forward, right? Keep them nice and firm, stay nice and tall, track straight up and down perpendicular with the floor. All right, the next one we're gonna do is a hinge. Same rules apply. You're gonna pin your shoulder blades down and back. You're gonna hold this here, heels dig into the floor. Again, same rules apply. Back's nice and straight. I want you to notice that my spine stays neutral. Don't let your shoulders come down here. Keep them retracted. So that might change your range of motion. You may not be able to go all the way down to the floor if you keep your shoulders engaged, but I'd rather you do that than cheat and let this come down. So straighten out the back. Okay, now I'm gonna look right at the floor, and I want you to think of your eyes like headlights, and they're gonna track along the floor and up to the wall in front of you, and then back down. So what I don't want you to do is look up or look at your belly button. I want you to start right at the floor. Shoulder blades are retracted. Okay? Straighten out those legs as much as you can and really, really squeeze. And then you're gonna, instead of thinking I'm gonna pull this kettlebell up, I want you to push your heels into the floor to stand up. For 15. There's 5. Everything's nice and firm. 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10. Really, really squeeze. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, last one. Really push through the floor, push through the floor, push through the floor, and squeeze. All right, so we've done squat and hinge. Now we're gonna do a lunge. rack this kettlebell. And when I say rack, see how my fingers are nice and straight. It's racked when it's right here, kind of like a baby or a puppy right here, okay? So let's keep it racked right here. And actually, I'm gonna make the stationary leg be the one that's gonna bearing the load, okay? And we're gonna make sure that we use this arm to do something, right? Because this arm and shoulder connect to the opposite hip. So we don't wanna just have this sitting here doing nothing, right? We might as well use it while we can, and we wanna create a connection from this side of the body to this side of the body, okay? So when I stand up, okay, when I go back down, 3, and I want you to touch the ceiling with this arm, and on this leg that's getting up, I want you to push it through the floor, okay? There's lots of ways that you can hold this kettlebell. You can hold it like this if you want. You can also do a carry overhead. That's a little bit more advanced. You're gonna need a little bit more stability to do that. Okay? So this one we're gonna keep it racked for 15. Remember, really, really reach here and really push through the floor with that heel. When you push through the heel, you talk to the hamstring and the glute, and you tell them to kick in, so it's not just all quad. I feel like I've done about 50 of these, so I'm gonna do 2 more. All right, I'm gonna take a break because I'm at 5,000 feet altitude and I need to rest for a second, but I'll be right back.
If you don't need a break, don't take one. If you do need a break, it's okay. I definitely needed a break in between sides here.
We're back to do the other side of the lunges. Again, we're gonna rack this weight right here. This is what it looks like from the side. It's making contact with my upper body, right? You're starting that down position, okay? Remember, we want to use this arm too, okay? We're connecting this side of the body to this side of the body. So right shoulder connects to left hip. Now, I'm not as stable on this side, so don't laugh at me when you watch this. Now, if you have some stability issues like I do, you can always take a wider stance, okay? And that'll give you more stability, okay? So give yourself more of a kickstand, right? Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, you're pushing through this heel, right? Keep this close to you. When you go down, touch the ceiling with that other arm. I think that's 9. There's 10. Eyes are forward. Eyes are forward. Your body will go where your eyes are. So if you don't want to fall down, don't look down. If you want to stay upright and forward, keep looking there. All right, we did squat. We did hinge. We did lunge. Now we need to do our push and our pull.
You always want to have a push and a pull in your circuit, even if you're doing a short circuit. And typically you would want to follow the pull right after the push or vice versa. And you always want to do them in the same plane. So horizontal push, horizontal pull, vertical push, vertical pull. Because I'm doing this push in the horizontal plane, I'm gonna get up and do the pull in the horizontal plane as well, and you'll see what I'm talking about coming up next.
We talked about making that connection from the right side to the left. You're gonna make sure that your lumbar is pushed all the way into the mat. And remember, we're still gonna do something with this other side, right? We might as well. And don't let this just be willy-nilly. Push this into the floor too, okay? And push this leg into the floor too, right? Flex this while you can. Have your toe pulled to your knee. Make everything nice and tight. And that actually turns off the other parts of your body. So you're just using the pec for this exercise.
And make sure that you're really driving that kettlebell into the ceiling. Make sure that your lumbar is also pressed through the mat. Not even an ant should be able to march through there underneath your back. And just really drive that kettlebell through the ceiling, even though you're keeping your entire spine all the way through the mat. All right, all the rules still apply. You're gonna try to engage your entire body from your neck all the way down through your hips and press everything through the mat, and then try to touch the ceiling with that kettlebell and really, really drive it. For 15, you're gonna exhale every time you push that weight up, and you're gonna inhale every time you bring that weight down. Couple more coming up here. Everything's nice and controlled.
Those are your pushes, and we're gonna go right into the pull. Let me move the camera.
If you notice, I'm also gonna keep my spine as straight as I possibly can through my neck. I'm not looking up, and I'm not looking down through my belly button. 4, 5, you're gonna pull that dumbbell into the rib cage, and don't let it flop down. Stay in control. Notice my back toe is up. That's gonna help me to hinge more straight. You can go right into the other side. You don't need any rest. Again, get up on those tippy toes in the back. The other thing that tippy toe is gonna do is it's gonna create a little bit of instability in the core, and that'll make it a little bit more challenging, which is good. Coming up on 5, you also notice my opposite arm is reaching out, trying to touch the other side of the gym. You're trying to get really long, nice and tight everywhere, and that just tells the lat and the back to do most of the work. I've talked a lot through this video about connecting the left side of the body to the right side of the body and vice versa. So these pocket presses are great because, as you can see, I'm working through the connection of the hip all the way up through the shoulders. I'm getting really long when I press into the ceiling, and I'm also putting that kettlebell through my pocket into the floor. You notice I'm not rotating my head. So you're going to switch, and all the same rules still apply. Nice and stable. If you feel like you're more unstable on one side, then take that outer leg, that front leg, and move it laterally out to give yourself a little bit more stability. Drive that kettlebell into the ceiling, and also press it through your pocket into the floor. Everything else is staying as stable as possible. Try not to hinge, try not to lean forward or lean to the left or the right. If you notice, I'm kind of staying in a really narrow path. I'm not wavering too far out at the top or the bottom. Now it's time to stand up. You're gonna do waiter carries down and farmer carries back. Everything is slow and nice and controlled. For your waiter carries, you're pushing those kettlebells through the ceiling. You're engaging through the lats, up through the shoulders. They're locked in place. You're walking nice and slowly, in control. Don't let the weight control you. You control the weight. Nice and slow. No rest in between. I think you should probably find a space that's about 25 yards if you can. Drive those kettlebells into the ceiling, nice and controlled, slow pace. You're working your core indirectly. The heavier the better, but if you have any pain in your low back, do not do the weight. So if it feels light, then of course add more weight. If you start to feel pain anywhere, then reduce the weight.